happened to you?
The monster! It's here in the house!
Are you out of your mind? Still going steady, aren't we? We could crouch in my basement.
Allow me to introduce myself.
You're locked in with the Basement Dweller, hosted by your boy Jacob the Man Charles Santoro.
You're blabbering about unnecessary stuff. Cut it out.
Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button to get all the updates from the channel too.
Tell me what your hand's doing over that button first.
But for now, just kick back and lounge out, cause they got a fresh one delivered to your system right here.
Alright.
Hello, everybody. You're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation. And I'll tell you, currently, if you haven't been paying attention, we're on episode 50 of the podcast, 50. And with me today, I'm so excited. I am joined by Jared, the one and only owner, operator, tattoo guy, all-around good guy, beer enjoyer. I said beard and beard? There we go.
All go together well. That they do.
What's going on, man?
Not much.
What are we doing
I'm
today?
Excited. Tattooing a wizard.
Tattooing a wizard on your boy.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate of the nerds alignment. I'm a huge advocate for tattoos. If you want to disappoint your mother, go ahead and do exactly what I'm doing now. It's going to be great. So, Mr. Jared, we've known each other for a little bit of time. We've been talking about this for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
You're kind of not too good with responding to text
No,
messages.
I suck.
Yeah.
To everybody out there, I suck at that. That's one thing about me. Unless it's my lady or family, I'm on it for them.
Well, maybe if I was hotter, you know.
Well, hey, I mean, you're looking pretty good. I like this lemon on you.
Oh, thank you. I actually bought this shirt just for you. Honestly, I was at shout out to Target. I don't ever go shopping by myself. I was very stoned at Target the other day, and it's kind of like
in the juice.
yeah, it's kind of like the Munchies, but for shopping. You know.
Perfect.
You know, as a man who passes over 250, I feel like the only thing that I can do is going to be Hawaiian shirts. Very Tommy Bahama. You know what I'm saying? Margaritaville.
Yeah. You need the flip flops though.
Yeah. You don't want to see my feet though. It's
I
pretty pasty, cankles, the usual.
Toenails okay though? They don't look like Frito chips.
No, I take care of them.
That's good.
Yeah, I like to take care of them. I have this weird thing that maybe because I'm so heavy that I need to take care of myself. That's kind of like the thing. It's like I don't want to be like don't get me wrong. I'm into a lot of huge nerd things. I can't be like a fat, sweaty nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta, like I'll do. I mean, hey, you're an old enough grandpa. You've heard of Magic the Gathering, yeah?
Oh.
That came from your great state of Washington, actually, and I partake in that. And I got to tell you that a lot of those places they're really stinky, and I just don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's not good to smell.
Yeah. So we were sitting and talking about this idea, and I got to say, you reached out to me. Oh my God, it's been a while. I know that.
Are you going to be ready for me to just kind of?
Oh, I'm ready. Go ahead and get into it. We're going to get into it right now. This is just for you guys, and yeah, let's get into it. If I cry, if I scream, that's just all part of the fun.
Laughing, but I'll help you get through it. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Oh, I'm done. Get it off me. Get it off. Mr. Jared, you are originally from Arizona, but you said that you moved to Washington when you were a young lad. When did you move to Washington?
I left Arizona in '89.
89. That wasn't Reagan Bush era, was it?
It was getting right about somewhere in there.
Okay.
I was 10. I didn't give a shit about that.
So you're born in '79. So you weren't just old enough to be an '80s kid, but it sounds like you were definitely embellishing in the '90s. Is that correct?
Yeah. Definitely.
I got to ask you, man, how many flannels did you own in the 90s?
Oh, any that my dad was throwing away, they became my brothers and my flannels. And, back then it was oversized flannels was like it, torn flannels. You go to the thrift store, find anything you could and tear it up with scissors and, just grunge.
Was that just your jam?
I was into all that, but I've always been like classic rock. Some of my biggest influences were, Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, CCR.
Really?
Yeah. All
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about the punk scene? I know that there was a big punk movement in Seattle, particularly. Were you ever that kid? Were you ever a hardcore kid? Husker Du? Anything like that?
Not too much. You know, I was just kind of just fucking me chilling. You know, I did get into playing guitar when I was, I think 13. My first guitar was some off-brand fucking guitar called the Lotus.
Hell yeah! So you're a guitar player. I never knew that about you.
Yeah, a whole bunch. Yeah, guitar.
Still jam?
It's been a while, but yeah, I definitely want to get back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I play quite a few instruments. You know, I enjoy it. It's definitely a big part of my life is music.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to. You know, I remember I was watching this thing. Do you remember Andre 3000? Straight out of Outcast? Yeah. He wrote this. He used to have this kids show. And see, this is where, you know what? I'm going to say it again every time he's on here. I miss Christian because he was my go-to guy to look at this shit for me. There used to be a kids show with Andre 3000, and he wrote this whole song about the world without music. And I kind of had this realization that, you know, you have people that have their likes, their dislikes, whatever. I don't think I've ever met a person that's just like, I'm not a big music guy.
Right. Yeah, I think if you don't really into music, it's kind of, I mean, I don't really want to label the word weird, but it's fucking weird.
It is a little weird. You gotta, it doesn't matter what you're into,
yeah,
but you got to.
I mean, even if, like, you know, you got your classical people, and that's fucking, I listen to a lot of classical. I fucking love it. You know what I mean? So there's a music for everybody. I mean, I understand silence. Silence is fucking great. There's moments where I just want to hear fucking nothing, not even my own intestines farting, you know, but can't control those.
Hey, I'm going to ask this real quick before we move really into it. I need my stage help here. Can you absolutely confirm that that's recording, that camera's recording, and my phone is recording? Because I swear, if we're denying, okay, so that one's good. If we're denying the world, that one's good too. All right, last one. Come on. We good? All right, we're solid. Just don't want to deny the world. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this: what is your like? Let's just say you have just had 100 beers, so you're messed up. What is your jukebox song? What's the song that you just are gonna interrupt everyone's day to put on?
Oh fuck! It's
Come on, man.
I usually go to Skinner fucking Saturday Night Special.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably my go-to. Always been my fucking like party song.
What kind of music were your parents into?
Classic rock, a lot of fucking old R&B, you know, I mean, that kind of shit's always been in the house, man, but always classic rock. I remember my dad, he turned me on to a lot of good albums, you know, so even music in my house was always big.
Yeah.
On both sides.
That's cool. I think that's something your parents got to have something, you know. Like I think that a lot of my musical interests come from. I'm gonna primarily say my mom. My dad was super into, you know, just like it's not grunge, but it's very like it's like Soundgarden and Creed, and then you have like Dave Matthews Band, not Coldplay, not necessarily my super jam, but my mom was really into like the Smiths and Morrissey, Joy Division, and I always thought I was a cool guy in high school for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Let me ask you this: so you're from Arizona, so why the move to Washington?
It was. You know, like I said, I was a kid, so I mean, I'm just going off stories of what, you know, my parents said. So my dad said out here, you know, went to right to work state, and he was a tile setter, and, you know, he was making good money in the 80s, and then it dropped him to like $10 an hour, and he was like, fuck that, ain't doing that. So fucking took us out of state, and he didn't even continue laying fucking tile. So
And you were a young kid when that happened.
I was 10, yeah. So I mean, I was just thinking of fucking whatever.
But I'm sure it was hard. You know, I'm sure you met
It was
good friends.
a big
And
fucking adjustment. I remember when, you know, because I, you know, traveled with my mom and brother, and I remember the first time I saw, because my dad went up ahead of us just to get situated and settled. And I remember being in Klamath Fall, Oregon, you know, after leaving the fucking desert, you know, yeah, we got Flagstaff and stuff like that, but fucking like not mountains and fucking trees like that and waterfalls. I was like, holy fuck, where are we going?
So you spend your developmental years in Washington. What was that like?
It was, I mean, just, I think like any other regular adolescent kid growing up, you know, I mean, the weather, it didn't really affect, you just went outside and fucking played. You know, you just fucking put on a fucking raincoat or whatever. You just
So that it's not a stereotype. That's real. Like it's very rainy over there.
I mean, it's more like it's a fucking thick fog. It's like you're just sitting in the fucking fog. Like you're just a fucking in fog.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean, you do see moments where it does fucking rain, but I think I remember reading or hearing one year that I think Portland, Oregon actually rained more amount total than Seattle did.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Are you so let me ask you this. Are you a rainy guy or are you like a sunny day kind of guy?
I mean, I like the variety in like an area where you get seasons, just because
Yeah.
it just changes the flavor. It adds excitement with holidays and other occasions.
Sure.
And so I mean, I do enjoy that.
I hear that a lot of people when they come back here or they move here, they say that though this place doesn't have seasons, it's a pretty rad winter.
Yeah.
There's no snow, there's no.
I've lived in some hard winters.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Maine, and Maine had some of the hardest fucking winters you could ever think of. I mean, one year the totals we had were 10 feet.
Holy shit.
And it's usually about, they consider winter, anywhere from November all the way through April. I remember driving back out, decided to move back to Arizona in 2018 and leaving my, property I rented in Maine, and there was snow on the ground, and I pulled out like April 3rd, and it was just like, all right, fuck. There's
See,
that.
it's so funny you said because Maine. I have this weird complex about Maine where that's where I want to die. There's
okay.
just something about the East Coast, and I've never experienced it. I've heard it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have this weird obsession with the state Rhode Island. I've never been to it. That's the kind of weather I like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it from like the Travel Channel and
I'd say if any region, northern coastals, you're gonna get different flavors.
yeah. I mean,
for sure.
could you agree that I think that everyone owes it to themselves to leave the hometown?
Oh, if you don't, I think it's kind of sad. I mean, I've come across so many people that, say they've never left their hometown, and I'm just like, gosh, there's so much to see. Because even just within our own, United States of America, there's fucking so much different culture,
You know what I've been getting really into is I've been watching these people on YouTube who do van life. You heard of that?
Yeah.
Guys who just, it's like a couple, and TikTok rules the world right now. So I see a bunch of shit like here's what's crazy about how the world works now is that you could watch one video on YouTube, and then you go away for a week. The next week, all the videos on your recommended page are that one fucking thing you watch. So
Right.
so that's like half my thing now is that I just watch these YouTube videos of these guys who are just like, yeah, I had this this desk job, I fucking hated it, and I bought this '95 Chevy, and then I just travel the country now. I'm like, man, that would be ideal. That's kind of the point I'm in. It's like I'm lucky enough to be able to travel when I want to, but there's just something about I think when you put yourself in that not hustle mentality, but I have this weird fantasy about like I'm gonna drive in my van and I'm gonna get all the way to Portland.
Right.
I'm out of money in Portland, and I'm just gonna find some mom and pop bar, and I'm gonna work there for 2 weeks, and I'm gonna save money, and it's gonna get my gas all the way to Montana. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think a lot of people now feel that because I mean everything's a fucking nightmare right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It definitely makes some people's eyes possibly open up to different ideas. Like you're saying, maybe I might be liking the idea of being easy to travel, easy to get up and pick up and go. And, because, I mean, some people probably feel like they can't feel comfortable they can't feel settled, or I can't consider this my home anymore.
Right. I don't know. My dad had that kind of mentality that was just, it's always nice to move. And the way that I look at it is like, I got no kids. I mean, I'm not married, but I'm in a pretty committed relationship. But it's just like, there's a lot of things in life that I feel like stop a lot of people. And I'm afraid of getting to that point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we don't want to talk about my feelings. You're the star of the show today. So,
I mean,
Ad-
feelings are good, so.
all right, I might start crying. Just kidding. Adolescent in Washington, was it always Everett, you said?
That was the first town I ended up or city at that. Yeah, it was Everett, Washington.
So you're 10 in Everett, and how old are you when you moved to another spot in Washington?
Oh, gosh. In my adult years, so I was 20.
Hey, full disclosure, whatever you just did sucked really
Yeah,
bad. So I just want to let
alright.
you know that. So
Just letting you know I'm still here.
And,
other
for those-
than my voice.
yeah, for those of you who didn't listen at the beginning, if you're listening on only audio, you can't see what's going on. that droning buzz you're hearing, I'm getting a tattoo just because I love to entertain you all. And I know some people really want a tattoo out there, so maybe this will be the motivation. But so you're in Everett. Where do you go next?
I went up north to Marysville, which wasn't too far.
How close to the Canadian border?
We were maybe like 50 miles.
And how old were you then?
Oh, I was probably 19.
19. So this kind of goes right into, the kind of meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about. So, you've been doing tattoos for, I remember you said 22 years. So
With an apprenticeship, yeah.
So have you always been an artist? Have you always liked to draw?
Yeah, always been into art, always, been into painting. Definitely, I love painting. I still paint. It's definitely just a good outlet for me and a good channel.
So what gave you, so when did you have the idea?
To a tattoo?
Yeah.
So I was one of those that actually waited till they were 18, and there was a tattoo shop in Everett that was close to my high school. It was right down the street from my high school, actually. It was Tattoo Evolution. And
Still there?
still there.
Oh, hey, shout
Yeah,
out, Tattoo
it's-
Evolution.
Absolutely. And I got my very first tattoo when I was 18 from Tom Carlston. He's
Shout
the
out
owner
Tom
there.
Carlston.
And he gave my first tattoo, and I started really hanging out at the shop and just kind of really seeing what they do, and I was just like fucking fascinated by it. And like I said, I was still in high school. I was older in high school.
Sure.
I had one more year to go. So I found myself leaving. Tom and I, we became friends. I was constantly going in there, getting tattooed, helping the shop, helping them clean.
Oh, so you were that cool kid in high school that had some tattoos, huh?
Yeah, I was that guy.
And what'd your parents think of that?
I was 18 at that time. They were kind of like going, "What the fuck are you filling up so fast for?" Because that's how much I was into it.
Were they pretty conservative parents?
Not really. No, they were fucking hippies, man.
Oh, okay.
Fuck, my dad's still a hippie. He
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
loves his pot. He drank most of my childhood.
Hangs
you
out
know?
at Grateful Dead concerts?
Oh yeah, if he fucking could, he would. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that in this day and age, I think that one thing that's really cool that I feel bad for, people in your generation that have never gotten to experience is that, tattoos at this point are such a casual point of life now.
Oh yeah, it's everyday business.
I'll never forget, like when I had a job that it was just like, I had half-inch plugs, but it was always you got to take them out. And then
Right.
one day it was just like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. It's just. And I work from home now, so it's nice to be able to do whatever I want with my body. But I feel like that was a huge thing back then, where it's just like no visible tattoos.
It was, when I was first getting around to the introduction of tattooing, it was in 1997, and so it was still like taboo, with a lot of stuff. And Boeing's a huge generator of Everett's community, and
Boeing, like the plane
the
company.
plane, the plane company, and the Navy was right there. So that was like who was getting tattooed, But even like then, you weren't seeing like the Boeing workers getting, full sleeve.
Yeah.
Some of them, but it wasn't. But now it's like no one gives a fuck. It's like, yeah, we're getting tattooed. It's not changing who the fuck we are and how we work.
And I actually did a lot of research before this episode. I kind of want to have some things to talk about. So, we hear the big names like Sailor Jerry and Ed Hardy and stuff like that. Do you have a specific tattoo artist that inspired you to kind of? Because you're not, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but from what I've seen from your work, and I'll definitely be posting your links to your socials, on this video. But I noticed that you kind of don't have a specific direction.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up is this is a very, and you guys will see it at the end, but this is a very, 80s fantasy theme. But, last week I was in here and you were doing up a beautiful leg piece that seemed almost like, not traditional, but it almost looked like a portrait. So, do you have any kind of inspirations from previous, I don't know if it's legends, I don't know if it's like a local guy?
I just kind of, when I was younger, looking at Tattoo Magazine and all that stuff, it was like artists like Tom Renshaw, because, they were the ones breaking through with realism art and stuff like that. So, that was always like a direction I was just kind of like fascinated by. I was like, wow, okay, look at these guys. They're putting like a fucking painting or a picture on someone's fucking skin. It's not just, yeah, it's a tattoo because of what it means. It's in the skin, but it's, you know, it's a fucking picture and it's beautiful, you know. And so I was like, wow, okay, you can actually, like, it's not like the other shit wasn't art, but it's just like, it's just evolved into such a different with how our machines run now and how pigments are and just everything. The needles, it just, you can really just create incredible stuff on the skin. So I guess that kind of where I like to not be held to just one style, you know, because yeah, people ask me, well, what's your style? And I'm like, I don't really have a style. I'd like to, I know when I decided to make this my career, I wanted to say anything that came through the door, I wanted to be able to do.
Okay.
You know, but in all fairness, if there is something that, like, you know, someone in the shop is better at, or they're really like fucking, that's just their thing, they want to do it, they love it, you know, talk to them, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's cool, you know,
Well, I
unless
know-
it's like a specific like referral, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, a good client, you know, they referred me to you, blah blah blah, type thing.
Okay. I mean that's fair. It's just, you know, that there's a lot of people out there that have their own style.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, but I think that it does take a little bit, you know, because are you a guy that does like tracing work? Like if someone specifically wants something on them, are you a tracer guy, or do you try to make your own?
It's always going to be, you know, unless it's like a portrait, it's always going to be, you know, different. Unless someone's like specific, then you know, it's kind of like fuck. But
Yeah.
no matter what, it's still, you know.
Have you had anything in your, you know, in your career where you believed that you couldn't do it, but you were shocked at the positive response of a client? Like, can you think of anything specifically where you were like, "Fuck, that's gonna be a..."
Oh, as far as like, should I be doing this tattoo? at this
Yeah, well, kind of
time?
just like, I'm afraid that I might fuck it up, but you did it and they had an excellent experience with it. Like, can you say? Could you remember like what it was? And
I don't know, because, you know, the shop, I really learned that, you know, it was pretty good about like, you know, you're not ready, you know, it was like, yeah, you're not, you know, touching that yet, unless it was a friend, you know.
so tell me about your apprenticeship. Who was the guy, or who was the person? I don't know if it was a lady, but who was it that you were under?
Tom Carlson.
Tom Carl.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
and so did he have a specific kind of?
He was really doing a lot of black and gray, but same thing. He was doing awesome color work too. So, you know, he was very, you know, I was inspired by him because, yeah, I would see his diversity and, you know, other artists that were in the shop
Okay.
at that time. You know, it was, you know, John Fitzgerald worked there. He was a, you know, airbrush artist 20 years before he even, you know, tattooed. And so he had that background, and you could see it applied in every tattoo still that he does, you know. So, I mean, all those guys, you know, that I was around and fortunate to, like, really get my first introduction to tattooing, it was, you know, I couldn't have fucking landed a cooler fucking shop to have a good experience. Because,
Cool.
you know, those guys taught me not only, like, you know, structure with tattooing and, you know, I mean, we were building tattoo machines, we were making needles.
You built your own.
Yeah. It was,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, I mean, that was first thing. I remember sitting in front of a fucking big ass workbench, and there was just a million fucking just parts that I don't
Yeah.
fucking. And there was this book. It was tattooing A to Z from fucking Huck Spalding and fucking those guys, and looking at these schematic, you know, just the basic buildings of putting a tattoo machine together.
Kind of reminds me of like a tattoo shop's version of almost like, not a haze, but kind of like a rite of passage. Like it kind of
Oh,
reminds me of
yeah.
like a, remember in like Red Dawn where they make the guy drink the deer blood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
kind of build your own machine. It's almost like a Jedi thing. You know, a
Yeah.
Jedi makes his own lightsaber. Like that's pretty
Absolutely.
badass.
And that's where this, like, you know, I mean, it, you know, at one point this industry, you know, I mean, it was a sacred trade. Like you had to like look for a tattoo artist. You had to, you know, now it's so mainstream, which it's that's good. I mean, I'm all for that because it's definitely made some people that might not have ever stepped foot into a tattoo parlor actually take the plunge and walk into a
Sure.
shop and be like, oh wow, this isn't fucking scary. It's not fucking, you know, bikers and whatever that people think the stigma comes with old time tattooing.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's cool how mainstream has like kind of changed that, because even here in Sun City, I had a lady this last year. She came in for her very first tattoo, and she was 82 years old.
God bless her. What'd she get?
And it was a little teddy bear holding a heart, and with her husband had passed away, and it was his initials, and her new companion that they'd been friends for, gosh, I don't know, I think 60 years. They taught at the same high school back in Wyoming, and yeah, it was just great to work with her, and yeah, she was, just thrilled to say when she comes back in the fall that she'll be back for more work.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean it's cool that it's brought that kind of like
Community.
yeah
For sure. No, that's really awesome. Do you remember the piece that was kind of like your A, so to speak? Kind of like, hey, you passed the finals. Let's consider you like you're in a chair now. This is your spot. Do you remember what you did?
It was kind of just, I don't know, man. I was at the point where I was doing some fun stuff. I remember one was a pinup girl that I did, and even Tom was, I think he was pretty happy with that too. He was like, yeah, it looks good. Good job. But he was always like, he was good about not like making you fucking blow your fucking head up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was.
So would you say that it was kind of more of like a tough love kind of thing?
Oh yeah, man. I remember one time I was fucking tattooing, and fucking I had my ball cap on facing forward, and I remember Tom walking by, and as he walked by, fucking hits that hat right off my fucking head, and he's like, "You like fucking tattooing in the dark?" And I'm like, "Fuck." I didn't say nothing. I was like, "That's fucking at the time. That's Tattoo Dad." So I'm like, "Fucking."
I like that, Tattoo Dad. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like an authoritative father figure to
Yeah,
you.
it's like, I mean, you better fucking listen. I mean, it was a make or break fucking thing. How bad do you fucking want this? And
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I mean, I'm proud that I can say I came from that cloth, that it was like, the old way of, true, tried and true fucking apprenticeship,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm glad. I feel fortunate every day. I mean, I even have Tom's Instagram on the window, because I mean that's the fucking hand
It's
that
your guy.
fucking brought me into this fucking game. And I mean, his shop had so many fucking cool like experiences, man. Where I was like, did that really just fucking happen? I mean, just like fucking fist fight breaking out in the lobby, or
Yeah.
fucking.
Oh shit, you have those stories?
Oh yeah, man. There was fucking.
All right, so tell me about that. So how old are you in this situation? Let's get some backstory.
Fuck, I'm 18. I mean,
18.
I'm just fucking wet behind the ears.
18
just
years old, doing something.
Still in high school.
So what goes down?
Oh man, it's fucking a Friday night in the fucking. Here's a good story. It's Friday night in the fucking at Tattoo Evolution, 1997. It's a fucking busy shop. I mean, it's fucking lobby full of people, and one of the artists I mentioned, him, John, he's working, and this fucking guy comes in, kind of wanting to push along in front of line. He's being a kind of dick, and John just looked at him and said, "Hey, you just bought a ticket to the fucking end of the line. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fuck you." And so, I don't know, 40 minutes later, we hear this big fucking thud against the building, and we're like, what the fuck? And, music's loud, so it was a loud
Yeah.
thud. So, and this shop was set up like a fucking fishbowl. It was fucking window, fucking turn, window. And we're talking big fucking, 4-foot plates of glass. It's wide.
Yeah.
This motherfucker took a cinder block, fucking tried to throw it through the window, misses the fucking window. That shows you that this guy just fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Hits the fucking metal beam frame in between the windows, and
Yeah.
so we go out and we see this fucking cinder block, and it said, "Johnny, you're a dead man," Shamrocks or some bullshit like
Right,
that. I
yeah.
can't, that was a long time ago. I've
Yeah.
smoked a lot of pot in my life, but we were just like, what the fuck ever, So I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, there was a time when there was an artist, Percy. He's just, he's passed away. I mean, since, but he was like kind of Everett's pioneer, for tattooing. I mean, he was at that time Gypsy Joker biker, and he was just a not very, good person. So I mean, there was that kind of stuff that would go on, and I mean, it was a wild shot, man. It was dope. But yeah, you would see like fucking, I remember fucking Taz and fucking John fucking rolling around, shop full of fucking people fighting.
Holy shit.
But then they'd get up and they were brothers at the end of the night. I mean, that's just kind of how it was. It was like it was a family.
It's an interesting dynamic. There's a bunch of people, in this world, and I've definitely worked for a couple of them where their whole personality is not only did you fuck up, but I'm going to yell, rant, and rave on how you fucked up. You're going to go cry about it in the corner. And then 20 minutes later, hey, who's hungry? Who wants some? You know what I mean? It's a weird thing, and that's not me. You seem like a very calm guy. I mean, I can't imagine you getting angry. You know, has there ever been a situation? You know, the big one I like to ask is, has there ever been a situation where you do a piece, guy looks at it, and they go, "I'm not paying for this shit."
No, I've been lucky, honestly, man. Now here's one story. So this young sailor came in, and you know he's a cool kid. He come in, and his grandmother just passed away, and we did, you know, he wanted to do a memorial for her, so we did an open Bible, some verse, her name, blah blah blah. You get the gist. He come back like 3 hours, 4 hours later. I'm like, it was a good gap. You know, I was into my next piece for the evening, and he's all, "Hey man, you're not gonna fucking believe this, but my grandpa was married twice. This is the wrong grandma's name." And I'm like, "Fuck, dude! Like,
shit.
you know, tattoo. What does that mean? Fucking permanent. Like,
Yeah.
like check this shit, investigate this shit. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I've had my fuck ups with lettering. With
So let me ask you
writing.
this. Hold on. But wouldn't it be his responsibility to tell you what the fucking name is?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I did pretty good about having everybody, you know, write it out, and I kept that with their fucking release form, just so if it ever came back, like, look, that's your handwriting, that's fucking how you told me to
Yeah.
fucking write this shit right
Yeah.
there. So I mean, it was always.
So that's always been a thing, right? Like kind of like release forms, like you're
Yeah.
allowing me to do this.
Right. You know. Yeah, it's definitely. You know, different states like Washington, it's a very. You know, they regulate the shit out of this. Same with Maine. Like it was the guy from Maine. He came out, and I remember he went through all my equipment, looked at how I set up, looked at all that shit. You know, that's why I still keep my state of Maine tattoo license.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. Hey,
Yeah.
come down to Arizona. It don't fucking matter what
it's-
kind of place you have.
It's like a fucking Wild West. I mean, it really is.
No shit. I
You
mean,
know?
it's really interesting. You know, we were talking about this last week. I mean, you're not too much of a gun guy, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. But you know, I just got my first little gun, and I am stupendously shocked at it. Really is that easy.
Yeah. It's fucking. Hey, what do you want? Boom. Hello.
Done. As long as you haven't been arrested.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it's so nuts. And I see these guys. We went to the driving range. We went to the shooting range. Yeah, my lady and I. And this is the first time she ever shot a gun. And you know, it's whatever. She had fun and stuff like that. But then you have these dudes who bring these like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it looks like you're gonna be in a Jason Bourne movie kind of gun. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, what the fuck do you
Right.
need that for?
Right.
That's my whole thing. Did you ever grow up hunting?
No, I mean, you know, we fished. I know
Fish, yeah,
people
yeah,
call that
whatever.
hunting, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, I've later in life, I've, you know, gathered food, you know, but
I had a talk with a guy one time at work. This is a long time ago, but he was, you know, he was talking about his guns and stuff, and he said, he's like, yeah, I got this, what was it, the Dirty Henry, the 357, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he goes, this is for shooting vermin, like when I
call
go
it the Dirty
camping.
Jacob, too.
Yeah,
I mean, if you get one, you can.
yeah, the Dirty Jacob, yeah.
Yeah, you can call it that.
You know, and he goes, this is for shooting vermin. And I'm like, shooting vermin? That's a 50 cal bullet. I think that vermin's not going to fucking exist anymore, you
Right.
know?
That's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so, you know, look, to each his own. I think you live in a country that's cool enough to just allow you to regulate this kind of shit, that if you want to have fun, sure.
Right.
The thing that worries me is that it's no surprise that, you know, times are getting fucking crazy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, and you see these guys, you know, I've been to some protests recently, and like you have these guys who are, you know, they say they're quote unquote keeping the peace, but you're walking around with an AR-15, and you know, I don't know
You're
if
making people feel uneasy. That
Yeah,
way.
and it's like,
'Cause
I
you
don't
don't know. I mean, I'm all for people having ARs. I mean, I have an AR-15, but I think if people that haven't had, you know, I mean, if they don't know what the fuck they're doing, or they don't even know how the gun operates, or how it, you know, breaks down and field strips and cleans and all that, I mean, then yeah, you shouldn't fucking be a part about that.
I just, you know, and you know, this is something I usually don't like to talk about just because I don't know my guests and stuff like that, but it's kind of like the same, it's the same kind of mentality I have about like some police officers. It's like, Are you a good guy that's just trying to keep the peace in your neighborhood, or were you just bullied by a fucking black guy back in '86?
Yeah,
and
for
now
sure.
you're gonna be an asshole to everybody. You know, and so people.
You got that. I mean, I'm sure that's a fuck. I mean, it is a thing. We all know that. I mean, it's not a. I mean, yeah, it's sad.
Right.
Because I mean, yeah, people do. They take their authority, sure, in the wrong fucking playing field.
Right.
You know, and it's sad.
You know, times are so crazy in a positive. No secret, obviously, it's been a couple years, but weed being legal in Arizona. Could you imagine going back to yourself in 1985 and being like, hey, you know that joint you're puffing on?
Right.
No big fucking deal. In a couple years,
Yeah.
you know, it's so crazy. But I gotta say, one problem.
I'm not that old. I wasn't puffing a joint in 1985.
I don't know, man. Well, oh yeah, you were like 6. My bad.
That's all right. That's okay.
JK. But I have this gripe, and you, I'm sure you go to dispensaries quite a little bit. You know what drives me crazy is that I don't know if this is everywhere, but I go to this place. So let's just say my order comes out to like $150. Get a good haul, you know. They charge my card, but they have to give me back like $10.
Oh yeah.
$10.
My girlfriend works for a dispensary, and I argue with her all the time.
Yeah. Oh.
She's gonna actually.
Yeah. Looks like she got something to say. Here, go ahead. What do you got to say?
It's because
Oh.
Hold on.
it's not federally recognized.
Oh.
And banks are, so you have to run as an anonymous ATM.
Okay.
Or
See-
else your bank will flag you for fraud.
Okay.
Happen in the weed industry.
Okay. All right. That's
The more
fair.
you know.
Right. Hold on a second. Can you say it again?
Can I say it?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That sounds good. I
There
can
you
hear
go.
you now.
So the reason why they do that is because
Oh, wait,
they're
it
not
went-
federally funded in the weed industry,
Mhm.
and banks are.
Okay.
So when they go and do that, they have to run as an anonymous ATM
Mm.
for you to use your debit card.
Mm.
Because if it came back as like, oh, I just shopped at the dispensary down the street, your bank's going to be like, that's fraud. We're going to flag it.
Oh, okay. Can you hit that green button on that one? Yep. Hit it. All right. There we go. Okay. That's a little weird. I always thought that it was their way of giving like a tip. Like it's just like you gotta fucking like tip me, and it just drives me insane. And it's just like I feel like such a dick, you know what I mean? But it's just I don't know. And look, I think that you should always tip your bud tenders. Don't get me wrong, but it kind of reminds me of like those restaurants now that you're seeing where it's like they give you your check and they also put the gratuity percents on the bottom, which is kind of like how much of an asshole are you gonna be today?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I thought it was. But see, now that I know that, I guess I'll shut up about it. My whole thing is, you know what? I miss the good old days where you just had some weird guy come to your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just force yourself to hang out with him for a little bit. Maybe he smokes a little bit of the weed that he gives you, and then he goes home. Like, I think it's sweet that you could legally purchase weed now. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's so expensive.
Oh, of course they fucking. I mean that, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Even the regulating of the tattooing in Washington, it became a fucking money thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, so everybody just wants, yeah. So I mean, it all boils down to the almighty fucking dollar.
Oh, yeah, for
You
sure.
know? I
You-
mean, so yeah, it's kind of sickening that way, and I mean, some places have, decriminalized it just to fucking criminalize it again. So,
Well, Washington was one of the first places, yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've always been a pretty liberal state.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Were
oh
you-
yeah, they're fucking super liberal.
You weren't living there during the DMZ zone, were you?
No, I was down. Nope. Yeah, so
That's
it's
a-
weird shit, man. I mean, it's a sad what's happened to the city. I mean, I haven't been to Seattle in probably the actual city of Seattle in probably 12 years.
Oh wow.
A long time, yeah.
You know,
So-
being such a music guy that I am, it's like I'm almost so envious of just like I'm sure you've heard such amazing music from these what I guess what you would say nobodies now, but like
Yeah.
I can't imagine the music scene out there.
Oh yeah, and it was cool when they opened up that EMP, that that music museum. I remember my cousin, she's passed away now, but I remember she flew up to Washington one year, surprised me. I had no idea she was coming, and here she comes walking up the stoop of the tattoo shop. And I'm like, that's my fucking cousin Erica. What the fuck? And that's one thing we did on her trip was check out that EMP place. But yeah, it's definitely,
cool.
I mean, I hope Seattle gets back to being like a like a cool city, just like chill. Because like if I could tell anybody to visit, you know, one place, it's definitely, you know, the Great Northwest, man. It's fucking hard to beat the scenery.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. I mean, you know, people talk about like certain mountains. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've seen mountains that are 14,000 fucking feet. You know, I mean, that's fucking huge.
Yeah.
You know, when they're breaking through fucking clouds.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
fuck
that's
yeah.
fucking huge.
So you're a big nature guy?
Oh yeah, man. Nature's huge part of my fucking happiness.
Are you a psychedelics kind of guy?
I had a huge part of my life where I was fucking, oh yeah, eating shrooms all the time. I got lost in a porta potty one time.
Oh, dude, please tell me this story before we
Okay.
go on break.
Okay, absolutely. So, okay, I fucking first time ever shrooming. I was at the, if you don't know, there's this place in Washington called the Gorge. It's like an outdoor amphitheater. It sits on the Columbia River,
Okay.
on eastern Washington, so east of the Cascades.
Yeah.
And so first time on fucking mushrooms, you know, I'm at a Moody Blues concert, you know, and they had the whole Spokane Orchestra playing with them. It was a badass show. So, you know, I wanted to enjoy the concert, you know, like really remember it, because I was like, when am I going to see the Moody Blues again?
Right.
So I ate the mushrooms kind of towards the end of the show, but they kicked in pretty fast. I ate a quarter ounce of these kabinzis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they were dried kabinzis. And I remember, so this girl I went to high school with, she worked at this Dairy Queen down the street from my buddy Cliff's house. And so after school, you know, she said, hey, come to the Dairy Queen after school, just roll through the drive-thru, ask for 2 dilly bars. I'll know it's you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's such a stupid like, you
Yeah.
know, what if a dad asks for...
It kind of reminds
you
me of
know,
like, have you ever seen Tenacious D?
Yeah.
When he's like, hey, go ask for the Bob Marley extra crispy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. So here we are, fucking tooling up in Cliff's little fucking truck, and we get these fucking kabinzis. And I think because there was a bunch of us going to the show, so I think we had, it was over a fucking ounce.
Yeah.
And so I ate a quarter ounce, and these fucking things kicked in. And I remember looking out, and I remember seeing because I mean, it was like a fucking cartoon. I didn't know what to expect. Because it was like
You're
my
like in
first time.
Who's Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, it was fucking wild, man. And I remember like balls of flubber fucking bouncing past me. and-
Weird.
yeah, it was fucking gnarly. And I remember being in this fucking, and I was gone for a long time. So what I remember in this porta potty, like I said, this is what I remember. I thought I was like in some kind of fucking like weird fucking hallway. I don't know if I thought I was in like some weird alien fucking holding cell or something.
Yeah.
But I'm just walking in place. 'Cause I remember like shit was floating past me, like fucking belongings of people, like shoes and fucking whatever else. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just walking and I'm going, son of a bitch, where am I? And I'm beating on the fucking wall. And long story short, my buddy Cliff found me and he's like, dude, you've been in there for like fucking over an hour, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the fuck? Well, what the fuck if you knew I was in there? Why did it take you so long? But I mean, man, there's been some wild times with even my buddy Cliff, man. We were downtown Seattle one time, and he fucking wanted to shroom, and the dude we normally went through, he was out, so we're in downtown Seattle, and he fucking comes across this dude, and this dude's name's Stuart, and I remember just because it was like, fuck, we bought shrooms from this fucking dude named Stuart in Seattle.
Right.
And, you know, Cliff was like, you know, I want like a fucking ounce if you got it, and Cliff gave him the money up front, and I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know about this, kind of fucking weird, you know. And about an hour later, here comes fucking Stuart walking back, and I'm like, fuck, dude's actually coming back right on, that's cool.
Yeah.
And has this fucking full ounce cap. Fucking, it was like black, slimy, just like fucking wet mushroom, and I'm looking at Cliff, and Cliff's looking at it, and I'm just like, you already bought it, bro.
Yeah.
And so we go to this lake up north, Lake Shannon. It's up by Baker, by Mount Baker. And Cliff ate the whole fucking ounce that day. I wasn't shrooming that day. I just had some beers and smoking some weed. And this motherfucker comes backstroking past me, and he's like, I don't think I'm coming back. And I'm like, fuck, you're coming back, bro. I promise.
You always have some weirdos in your life
Oh,
that they
yeah.
just never left their trip.
Absolutely. And so every now and then I'll still fucking, you know, I'll say, hey, I'm not coming back. I don't think I'm coming back. But yeah, man, I loved psychedelics. I mean, I I remember one night.
They open the mind.
Oh yeah, this fucking dude gave me one night at this fucking party 2 little fucking, he called them micro dots, and I just gobbled them right down, and fuck, I was just, damn, the fucking body high on that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But the mental trip on that one too, I was kind of like, wow, this is fucking intense.
Fuck.
So I mean, at that point, I didn't really know what the fuck I was eating.
Yeah.
I just fucking threw them in my mouth. I was like, whatever, you know.
Did you ever do piercings, or has it always been tattoos?
You know, I messed around with a few of them back in the day, and wasn't into it.
No,
You know.
not a piercings guy.
Yeah.
See, that was always the thing that I was always been really into was the piercings, and I come from not conservative parents, but they give enough input to address concern.
Right. I wore piercings. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have been around it, and we had a piercer in the shop during my whole apprenticeship. I just, as far as like doing the actual piercings, I was more of a, you know, I just wanted to concentrate on getting tattooing down.
Yeah, I've always
take on too much.
I've just always been obsessed with I mean, tattoos are cool, don't get me wrong, but I mean, the piercing aspect. My whole thing is, I don't know, this is such a pretentious thing to say, but like, I would say that, that tattooing and piercing is kind of like the rawest form of art because it's on your body.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's fucking cool how you can do it. I mean,
Right.
It's expression like no other.
But I've always been obsessed with like it's something about stretching. So it's like, it's the reason why I really want my, what do you call this by your nose? The nose
Septum?
one. Septum, yeah. But I want my septum done. But I'm absolutely going to stretch it to a bull ring.
Yeah.
You know, just like I really want a piercing behind the back of my ear done, but I'm going to stretch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like, that's like my whole thing. And like, but tattoos, I admire these guys. We were just talking about them with, what'd you call them? The Enigma? Yeah, with like that guy, it's like his whole body, forever.
Yeah.
Like you can't go to a place and get that removed. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's commitment. I mean, that's like, you know, the biggest thing, you know, is just people really taking the plunge, you know, to do it, you know.
Have you done a lot of like self work on yourself?
Yeah, definitely. When I was, you know, apprenticing, I was messing around with shit on my legs all the time. It's all fucking just.
I think that's what legs are for. I think legs are meant for just doodles.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a tattoo that you've done yourself that you're super proud of?
Not really. No. No, I mean, honestly.
No, they look like shit, bro.
Honest opinion, yeah. I mean, it was just like fucking late night stupid bullshit going, fuck, I had too many beers tonight or something.
So that kind of brings me to my next question is that, you know, I know that you don't really want to like market this, but I'm genuinely curious. Do you feel like you do better tattooing stoned as opposed to sober?
Now it's kind of just like, it's just kind of who I am. So I mean, but I can tattoo not stoned.
Yeah.
As well, but I like being stoned.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
You know,
It's
yeah.
2022, nerd. If you're not smoking weed, I still have friends. No, I don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
But I definitely get tuned in. One of the biggest things I always like express to my clients is I tell them, hey, when I'm tattooing, I have my headphones in.
Yeah.
I always can hear if they need a break or if, I always want to kind of hear everything else what's going on. But I just get sucked into my zone. It's not that I'm rude or anything. I just, most people would rather you be tuned into whatever you need to be to fucking make him a badass fucking piece. So.
And I'm a huge advocate for, my, like my dad's one of those guys where he just, he doesn't smoke weed. I mean, he doesn't drink. I mean, the guy's, I think that in 2022, if you're not doing something to just forget about life for a second, you're a fucking psycho. Yeah. I mean, no shit, but, I've been enjoying weed a lot more recently. I used to be that guy, but my big thing is, are you a munchies guy?
It's weird. Like I will get little. I don't know if she's gonna chime in on this, but yeah, I definitely will get weird little. Fuck, I need something sweet right now, or fuck, where's my fucking.
Oh, so you're a sweets guy.
Sometimes, but then like I have like a fucking right now I have a Brazilian barbecue trail mix on my bedside, and that fucking shit tastes good. They got these little sesame seed.
Yeah,
fucking
I like.
things. So little treats like that. Like if I can have treats like that through the night, like I'm happy. Or I'll always get like, say if we go to like a Taco Bell or something, I'll always get extra. That way I can have my room temperature Taco Bell later in the night.
All right.
And go out to the kitchen and come back. Bring it in there and there.
So let me ask you this. All right. So I always like to ask these two questions. I'll ask the first one. Let's say death row, but you're stoned, right? What is your stoned death row meal?
Oh, fuck. Frozen pizza.
What?
Yeah.
I fucking hate frozen pizza. That was the worst answer you could have given, dude. I hate Hey, DiGiorno's, go fuck yourself. That shit is so disgusting.
We're talking about the Baron, buddy.
Nah, dude.
Get your goggles on and soar the flying eyes.
Dude. This cardboard that you call crust and this fucking...
Because these motherfuckers, if I'm on death row, they don't give a shit.
No, bro, I'm asking you.
They're
So
gonna
I don't
find me
want
the
you to
most
think it so seriously. I'm
frozen
saying...
burnt
So you're telling me right now, if you could only have one Munchies meal for the rest of your life, it'd be oven pizza.
Oh, one munchie meal the rest of my life? Not
yeah.
death row?
No, I'm saying... That's what I meant.
No,
like, I'm
man.
saying, like, what is, like, your...
My go-to, like my favorite little snack is, like, spreading some super chunky peanut butter over some tortilla.
Oh, that rocks.
Rolling that shit up.
Oh, that
And when I was,
rocks.
like, young, I would, like, have my stoner big-ass bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
Take
Oh.
my bite of my burrito and fucking...
Oh, homie. Oh, my
Slip
God.
it
Don't even
down.
get me started on
Yeah,
fucking
see?
cereal. All right, now I got to ask you before I ask my second question. Sub-question. What's your favorite cereal?
Oh, you're not going to like me. I'm a healthy cereal guy.
Are you like a Raisin Bran kind of guy?
I love Raisin
You're
Bran.
such a fucking nerd, Jared. Oh,
I
my
love,
God.
I love grape nuts. I love crackling oat bran.
Hey, Grandpa, what was fucking 1945 like?
It tasted good.
Oh, my God. First of all, if you don't say Fruit Loops...
I like fruit. No, I get down with
No,
like
no.
the
But you
sugary
are.
shit.
It's too late. You already said your favorite cereal is...
Not Raisin Bran. Cheerios is my favorite.
What? That's even
With
worse.
with no sprinkled sugar.
Oh, my God.
Hey, man.
Do you have
I'm
a
trying
couple-
to live long, healthy, and happy.
Yeah, do you have a couple of Werther's Originals in your fucking
I used
pocket
to.
right now?
I got those fucking chewy fucking peppermints.
Hey, man, you're doing my piece right now, but I don't know how I feel about you anymore. Honestly, you say
Hey,
you're...
can we just end this? Do you like pickles?
Yeah, I like
All right,
pickles.
I like pickles.
All right.
Dill or relish?
It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
we're back. No, we just went back to where we fucking were.
Yeah, but dill pickles, the only difference is that you're putting, like, the dill, like, seasoning in it, right? What's the
mean,
difference between dill and relish? Can I not make dill pickles into
like
relish?
Sweet pickle, I guess.
I don't give a
I should
fuck.
say.
That's my thing. I like it on my hot dogs, and I like it on my burgers. That's about it.
Do you like brats?
Yeah.
I love brats.
So,
Mustard.
yeah. So with
that snap?
I like that bitter salty. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do like regular hot dogs. It's got to be all beef franks, like Nathan's. You know what I mean? Like it's got a little bit of oomph to
no,
it.
See, at home we're all bar ass.
Yeah, but that's like bologna. That's like rolled bologna.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Nasty.
That's her favorite.
I can't be
So I go
judging you
with
too
it.
much. You might just say the word fuck on my arm at this point.
No, it's looking too
All right.
fucking cool.
You know what? But I will still say I appreciate the peanut butter on the burrito is pretty dope. Let me ask you this: hangover cure. What's your hangover cure?
Oh, grease.
Yeah.
Fucking, bacon grease for sure. That's always helped. Mm-hmm. I'll eat like sometimes there's been like cold like slab of pot roast in the fridge where it's got the white grease still on it.
Yeah,
I'll
baby.
Just eat that. Just go
Yeah, baby.
with that, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
A couple Advil. Chew the gel caps.
Yeah. Oh,
No, I'm
chew
just
the.
playing.
Oh, as fuck. I like my go-to since I was in high school was always 2 sausage egg McMuffins and then a black coffee. No sugar, no milk, no nothing. Just a hot black coffee.
Yeah.
And then I drench everything in Tabasco sauce.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's the way to
I
fucking go.
love black coffee still. I do half and half a lot now, but I do like black coffee. Now I do have an egg McMuffin story that's kind of gross.
Oh, what's up?
So
Come on, dog.
a buddy back in the day, he swear to all our buddies and me that he jerked off going down the road with an egg McMuffin.
Wait, like he put it in the egg McMuffin?
Yep, and just like a rabbit, just went to town.
That's what's up. I
Yeah,
mean,
so I mean, you know, it's whatever.
hey, man. I mean, we've all been there, you know. Me personally, I've never done the whole microwave a grapefruit kind of thing, but I'm sure there's those weirdos out there. You got to
I'm
do what you
sure.
got to do.
I mean, there's dudes like me eating Raisin Bran for their number
I
one
know
cereal.
that's a fucking crazy. If we're on a vacation at a hotel, and I see you get a fucking bowl of Raisin Bran,
Would it be out of the vending machine? Beep, beep, beep.
yeah, I'm sending you to fucking Margaritaville, and I'm leaving you there, dude. You fucking. You're with
Where's
your,
my flip flops? Don't forget my flip flops.
You know, you were talking about speaking of male genitalia and the ejaculation of it. I went to the doctors recently to get a consultation for vasectomy, potentially, because the world's fucking crazy. And if my girlfriend's not allowed to have abortions in this state, then hey, whatever, I might as well do my part.
Right.
The guy told me, I don't know if this is a compliment or not, but I went to the consultation, and I don't know about you. Are you an avid doctor's visit kind of guy?
Oh, no.
No. So when
Yeah.
they touch your shit, it's like no big deal. It's their job, but it's a little
Yeah.
weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's like doing his shit. He's like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what it's gonna feel like, and it's causing me discomfort. And he goes, oh, that's weird. You have a thicker than normal scrotal wall. And I was like, okay. And he goes, the problem is that it's gonna probably hurt you a little more, so we need to give you anesthesia. And I was like, well, what if I don't want anesthesia? He goes, the reason why I recommend it is because if I'm doing my shit down there and you move, I'm gonna stab your balls. Like there's, you know what I'm saying? Like so,
Right.
so it's like at this point, like if
I
it's
gotta
causing-
cut through it like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey.
Right. So it's like if it's gonna hurt you now, like it's gonna hurt you then, you know. So I go home, and she goes, "Well, how'd it go?" I goes, "Turns out, I have a thick scrotal wall." So I've just been telling people that. You know what, man?
How do you like your steak? I don't know, but my scrotum wall is so fucking thick.
Fuck, man.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know.
I mean, they gotta have like a different scalpel that can fucking get through it.
I don't know. It just scared me because, you know, some doctors get really technical, but some doctors keep it casual. And the fact that
Yeah.
he said, I'm not joking, he said, I will stab your balls, sounded very threatening. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like, damn, okay.
I don't know.
It's, you know, I mean, at one point in my life, maybe I was weird about being naked in front of doctors, but I've been naked in front of so many
Yeah, I
doctors.
never give a shit about that. I played
Yeah.
sports in school, like, whatever. Weirdly enough, I have this weird thing where, like, I refuse to use a public bathroom.
Right.
Got no problem showering with dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, whatever.
Yeah,
It's like
whatever.
a whole other thing. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just like this, like, that's like that fragile thing.
Oh,
Have you ever had the opportunity? I don't want to say opportunity because it sounds kind of fucked up, but has anyone ever come to you for, like, racially charged
No,
tattoos?
I've been fortunate between states I've been in and all that. So yeah, no, I haven't even been hit up for that. So yeah,
Really?
I've had like well, you know, I mean that's not boring to me, but like as far as that kind of shit goes, yeah, nothing.
You know, I think that everyone has a niche, and I feel like every artist has like their own kind of go-to.
Yeah.
No bad blood with the ex that I had, but first time I ever met her dad, we went like they had like an apartment pool, right? So we were gonna go swimming, and he joined us, and you know, oh, it's awesome to meet you, you know, stuff like that, yada yada yada. Pulls off his shirt, and on his belly, from like his chest, like whatever, like the middle of his chest to his belly, he's got a big shark. There's a huge ribbon that says the Great White Race,
Oh fuck!
and I'm just like, who?
Just loud and proud, right there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. He always said, again, no disrespect to her, it's just her dad, but he was just like, oh, you know, that was back, you know, I was in prison, and like I was like, I don't know, bro, like.
right.
I hear all these stories about these good guys that are like, you know, covering up those kind of tattoos. I'm like, I feel like you have your opportunity to get it covered if you know. But no, you never had anyone like that?
Nope. Yeah, I've been, like I said, pretty lucky. You know, I've had good clients, and you know, if we can't settle on a design together with each other, there's never been like any weird hard feelings or anything. It's just like, all right, cool. I'm not the artist for you.
So
and,
there has been situations where you've kind of had to refuse service.
yeah, if people become like a fucking pain in the ass, where I'm just like,
Any
look,
kind of stories you can give me?
not that I can fucking think of offhand, I guess, but just because it hasn't happened in like recent years, like, you know, there was one sailor kid. Him and I ended up settling on the fucking design, but he was I almost, you know, didn't do the piece, but he wanted a fucking paragraph on his whole fucking rib cage, completely backwards, so he could read it in the mirror. You know, I mean, so it was like a vanity. I don't know what it was.
Sure.
But this wasn't, you know, I mean, back in the day when, yeah, it wasn't fucking as easy as like, oh, fucking pop that fucking paragraph in your iPad, flip that bitch around, and fucking print it. You know, it was like
Yeah.
I fucking hand wrote this fucking shit out,
Yeah.
fucking backwards,
Right.
You know, out of, you know, my lettering fucking books and all that shit. So I mean, it was a pain in the ass, just because it was like, you know, oh no, now I want to change the lettering for this, and you know, I understand, like, yeah, you got a deposit down, but it's like, you know, that's more kind of holding your fucking spot, you know, because it's like when it becomes busy, that's my deposit. You're locking your spot down. Because there's times where I'll draw on your skin too.
Yeah.
You know, and I have an artist here, Angel, that he's mostly a freehand
Well,
artist.
fuck, it gives me anxiety when you're talking about these old days where there were just people waiting in the waiting room.
Oh, fuck, till fucking 2 in the morning.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it was, at one point, Evolution was, I mean, it was 12 to 12 was the actual physical shop hours. You know, I mean, that was just it. You know, but, I mean, there was artists tattooing all night long. I mean, it did, you know, they'd leave.
I mean, if you're going to pay me. you
Yeah,
know.
you know, I mean, they'd leave the bar, go back, fucking tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was, yeah, Evolution was a crazy fucking crazy shop. It's a badass, you know, milestone in my life, being that I was a part of that and still am, because, you know, Tom and I were still, you know, friends. You know, I mean, we're still,
Yeah.
you know, I've always looked up to him for, you know, like
Guidance and.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we've broken bread with each other. We've, you know, he's got boy-girl twins that, you know, I fucking used to pick them up when they were 3 years old, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I've always been like Uncle Jared
Right.
and his oldest daughter. I remember her
You
when
guys
she
still in
was-
contact?
Yep. Yeah, we just, Sierra and I just saw him up in Washington on our last trip up there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
So, you know, to kind of go a little bit more in depth just about like your career with tattooing, has there ever been a situation where you were afraid that your profession would get in the way of your family or personal life? Was there ever a situation that you feel like you had to hang it up to maybe
there
salvage?
there was many times. I mean, yeah, I mean, my, you know, ex-wife was never supportive of this, you know, so I mean, yeah, it made it difficult for anything to keep, but, you know, there became a point in my life where I just finally said, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
Peace the fuck out.
Right.
I hope you find your fucking happiness.
Was there ever a situation where you felt like quitting?
Yeah, I got discouraged in my younger days of tattooing where I, you know, I mean, you know, it's funny because, you know, I get a lot of people asking me for black and gray pieces now, but there was a point in my early career where fucking black and gray was the biggest thing I fucking struggled at. Was getting that fucking smooth transition.
Okay.
And it was just,
But never as
and
like
that made me want to quit. And I remember, yeah, I mean, there was.
but never as a 20-year veteran, you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Now?
Yeah.
No, I love it. I'm.
And you see
fucking-
yourself doing it till old
I
age?
hope I can fucking. Angel just asked me that same question last week. He said, "How long do you picture yourself tattooing?" And I said, "I fucking hope if this world keeps me till, if I'm around till 80, that I'm still tattooing. That I make
Good.
that 60-year mark of, you know, I mean, keeping your mind going, keeping, you know, I hope I."
Well, hey, you're like what, 62 now? So
I'm
I mean,
almost
yeah.
there. So I mean, if I can get, yeah, I mean, we're getting there. My grays are showing up.
You're gonna have your tattoo hours from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. because that's
We're
what,
getting there.
Yeah,
as
we
long
don't.
as someone brings me an English muffin and a slice of grapefruit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Hey, I don't
We're good,
I don't
man.
tattoo after dinner. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I do start early. I mean, I'll start as early as 9 a.m.
You know, I got to ask you this question too. Is you know, we were kind of talking about it earlier. So what, you know, your lady, you guys have been together for 5 years, which congratulations on that. You know, she's a little bit younger than you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, is that something that was new to you?
The age gap?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was definitely, like, new, but she had carried herself so mature, which she still does.
So
that
for people,
it wasn't like, you know, she was already a homeowner. She,
right. So I met you through your lady. I used to actually work with her. Huge ball buster back at the old Pizza Hut
Yeah.
days, and you know, not much has changed. Just kidding. You know,
Yeah.
you're awesome. But I was curious about that too. I mean, meeting her parents for the first time, was it like kind of like a trip?
it was fucking awesome, man. Those people fucking opened their home to me with open arms and just, you know, I mean, they, you know, there was like a little occasional joke here and there, but her dad was just like, if you can't laugh about it, what's the
Right.
point of it? And her mom, you know, it's like we Sierra and I were always laughing about it, but her mom will be at dinner table and she'll look at me and she'll be like, you remember back in the day, you know, like me? And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Hey, do you remember the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Oh yeah, fucking A. You got it. Because there's I think 12 years difference between her and her dad and I, and maybe 10 years between your mom? Yeah, something like that. So.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
they're fucking awesome people, man. They never once have like, you know, judged it or made me feel weird about it, and they've always just, you know, her dad recently told me, hey, you know, you make her happy, and I can see that. And that's
It's always
all
a good feeling.
That matters. Yeah, definitely.
It's always a good feeling, you know.
And I've tattooed her dad. You know,
I was
which
gonna
is-
ask you
which
if you've
is
done
cool.
any work on them.
Yep, yeah, I've tattooed her dad, and that was pretty cool.
You can't see it on camera, but she's over here monitoring everything he says. So,
Yeah.
in case there's any objection, she's ready to go.
She's
so,
ready to go.
Yeah.
She's got me. She's my number one support, man. Always has since the moment I met her.
You need that, man. You need a good person in your life to just kind of not only support you in your dreams, but kind of guide you in the right direction. You
Yeah.
know,
It's funny when I met her. I'm just gonna share this because this is a recent story. You know, when I first met her, I had dreadlocks. You know, my beard was just ragged, haggard.
yeah, you look like Rob Zombie. I remember that. Yeah.
And, you know, cigarette smoker. Just whatever. That was just me. And you know, then out of the blue, I had cut my beard, and well, first I cut my dreads, and then you know I cut my beard, and I was wearing no beard for.
Can I ask how long you were having the dreads for? How long did that take you?
That set was for. I had that for about 2 years.
Did you reek of patchouli?
No,
No?
I kept them very clean. Yeah, I would, you know, wash them probably 3 times a week with Dr. Bronner's.
So why'd you cut them?
So I just, you know, that was my 3rd set, so it was just kind of time to say goodbye to that journey. And well, then I, you know, started wearing a, you know, cleaner face, not so bearded for, you know, a couple years. And she got used to that, and then I'd recently grown my beard back, and then I had cut it. And a couple days later, she had said, "I can't believe I'm going to say this," because she loved my, you know, without my beard. And she said, "I can't believe I'm going to say this. I miss you without your beard."
Are you a boy band kind of lady? You like them clean shaved? No. See,
But she told me she missed it.
See, I
and I
can't-
asked her what had changed, and she said it's because it's who you are.
See, I can't grow facial hair. I get this sick little mustache, and that's about it. And every time I shave it, Allie's not stoked at all. And she will pretend. She'll always say, well, you know that stupid lame shit that your partner will, oh, I love you just for your line. No, you see, you want my mustache. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I admire the kind of guy that can grow a sick-ass beard because I can't do that.
All right.
It's all genetics.
Give it more stress in your life, and it'll. No, it is genetics. But
See, but that's what I'm mad about is that my dad finally started growing a beard in his like 40s when beards became the cool thing.
Right.
And now I'm afraid that once I grow a beard, they'll be like, that's so 2018, Jacob.
just
Like, you
remember, if it's cool to you, then fucking sport that motherfucker.
yeah.
You know,
See,
like-
I have this problem where I just, if you say one thing negative about, I can't live on this earth knowing that people hate me. And that's just like, not hate, but like talk shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing to get over. So actually that kind of goes towards another thing where
Right.
how do you handle your, I mean, are you pretty susceptible to criticism?
I mean, I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely.
But you haven't had a situation where we're done here and you finish up and they're like, dude, that looks like shit. Have you? No?
No, I have so many fucking return clients, which I'm so thankful for. I mean, that's, you know, but I mean, I try to treat every client, I try to treat every person that comes in here great. You know, I had tattooed one of my clients, and the first time I had tattooed her, she had gotten something very small. It was a little typewriter font across her forearm, and she had said, wow, I went to 3 different shops, and one shop almost made me cry because they made me feel almost stupid for wanting to get this.
Really?
And you know, I've seen that through the years. I mean, even, you know, shops back in Washington where I'm just like, fuck, I can't believe you just said that to that person. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's taking fucking money away from me.
Right.
And so, you know, I did that tattoo, and I mean, it's turned into, you know, I mean, she came back and got a huge fucking thigh piece, and, you know, we got we're starting a sleeve. She's already set on the books for October.
Yeah.
She sent me a friend who recently we just started a full back piece on him. So, I mean, you know, I mean, that's how it comes around, man. I mean, and that's why, you know, I get pissed when you do see people turn away shit, because it's like, that little fucking tiny tattoo, that's
Do you feel like do you feel like they turn it away because it's not worth their time? Or is it more so it's because they feel like they can't do it?
I think a lot of people in this industry kind of get like a rock star attitude with.
Oh, for sure.
And that's fine. I mean, have that. That's cool. To each their own. I don't care. I'm not looking to be fucking, famous with this shit. I just want to do, cool tattoos in my area where I'm at. Wherever I land. Is Arizona always gonna be it? Who the fuck knows?
So here's a big one that I know a lot of people who are avid tattoo getters or want to get one. They always ask, would you say that there's a huge difference between piece by piece and hourly? That's my first part of my question.
Well, I mean, I'm a person that I piece price everything, and I mean, but I don't, tattoo at a pace where I feel hourly is fair because I end up fucking myself.
Yeah.
And it's like I look at it like if I do a piece that looks fucking just as good or fucking if it looks fucking even cooler than the guy down the street that took him fucking 3 hours longer, why should I eat fucking money?
Right.
If I'm producing fucking quality.
So you're a piece by piece guy.
I'm a piece by piece guy.
So let me ask you this. So where do you gauge your piece by piece work? Like what defines a $200 piece or a $2,000 piece? Does it come from experience or does it come from word of mouth?
With my pricing and everything, yeah, I mean you're paying for not only your piece, your time, your experience, but you're paying for fucking experience. You're paying for all that shit. And people don't, when I tell them their price, they don't bat one fucking eye at it. And people that do, I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect me.
I don't know. I've known people that do this weird price matching things with tattooists, and I think just, I think in the grand scheme of things, there's no difference between something like I'm going to tattoo your arm or I'm going to do your landscaping job. $50 versus $200, you're going to see the result.
All right.
And I think that that's kind of the thing that a lot of people have that, you see the memes on Facebook or whatever, but you just don't really seem to understand that there's always a person that's like, oh, I know a guy that'll do, you're charging me $300, they'll do it for $100. It's like, well, great, you go get that $100 work.
Yeah, we used to have a sign hanging up at Tattoo Evolution that said, if your friend can do your tattoo for $6 and a case of beer, what the hell are you doing here?
Right.
And it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, some people are kind of like, they're always kind of like, oh, what's your deal with the deposit? And, I require a deposit for any appointment. It's generally a $200 deposit, and that goes towards the cost of your tattoo.
See, but it perplexes me that it's just, we've talked about it numerous times already on this episode, that it's just, this is a part of you now.
Yeah.
And so people who were so lackluster and nonchalant about just, well, I don't really want to do the deposit. It's just, what do you want?
Right. Well, and I look at it as like, okay, so if you're coming into the shop, you got referred to me, so you've already, seen my work in person, or you've seen it on social media, whatever. And so you're here. Cool. You made it here. I look at it. If you're gonna pay $600 for your piece, okay, yeah, that sounds good. $600, whatever. Just throwing a number out there.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, it's gonna be $200 deposit. That goes towards the cost of your tattoo. I look at it. Okay, if you're paying $600 for this tattoo, you're not gonna care fucking throwing $200 down
right.
for it. Like really, when I'm not saying right at that day, but when it comes down to committing to your tattoo, yeah, just fucking throw your deposit down.
Right.
I mean that's, and people that don't, I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, the line gets longer, so
yeah,
it's just kind of one of those things. But it's, if you don't do it, you get burned every time.
Oh, for sure.
You've wasted time drawing. You've told other people, no, I can't get you in today because I have this appointment coming in. So I mean, it's a fucking necessity because it's it's anyone's time's fucking important.
Yeah, sure. Especially if you're an independent businessman. I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
gotta
like
keep making that, for my Red Baron pizzas, man.
yeah. Shit, the way that time's going, I'm surprised there isn't a fucking guy at Walmart that will do tattoos.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
it's kind of.
Do you ever feel intimidated that you have to pick your own price, so you're worried about what people will say, or do you feel like you get
No.
enough business to not worry about
I
that?
mean, it's just, like I said, you know, I mean, you deliver stuff with confidence. You have work to show people. You explain to people, you know, why things are what they are. And, you know, even though Arizona doesn't regulate, you know, the tattoo industry, it's still, you know, I have my artists, they have, you know, bloodborne pathogens classes, you know, we have sharps containers and, you know.
So is that a class like a food safety?
It's, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, they update you with, you know, their, you know, guidelines with, you know, OSHAs and stuff, you know. I mean, it's something to show people. But, I mean, they do have some knowledgeable stuff. Some of it doesn't pertain to us, you know, and, yeah, you can skip through that shit. But.
You know, it's almost weirdly disconcerting, like, how cool Arizona is to just be like, fuck it, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
know?
it's just kind of like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to their age, you know, thing with tattoos either.
What do you mean
others,
age?
Like other states, you know, it was by law, state, you know, you had to be 18. Here you can,
Regardless of...
with a parent consent, it didn't fucking matter.
Mm.
I had so many parents in Washington. They're my fucking kid. And I'm like, yeah, it's my fucking business license. Sorry, you know,
Right.
not tattooing your kid.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day...
Yeah.
It's
They're not
me or
gonna
them,
fucking,
you know? Yeah.
By the time they're fucking actually 18, are they going to want fucking Pokemon lives on their fucking arm? Or whatever the fuck?
I think about that shit so many times, my
Right.
man. Look, I think if people want, you know, I see some dudes, and it's always a dude. It's not a chick, but there's always a dude with a fucking, like, Charizard forearm piece and a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fucking, like other, like, the behind it. And I'm just, like, thinking to myself, like, are you going to be that fucking guy as an, you know, like, I don't know.
Right.
You know, I think that, you know, personally,
I got a bingo dauber on my shin that looks like a fucking green-headed dildo. So, I mean, fuck.
are there any tattoos on your body that you regret other than that one?
I mean, yeah, there's so many. Yeah, so many.
Is anyone in particular you want to talk about?
Let's see. Well, it's been covered up now, but yeah, an ex-wife's name.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one.
I feel like that's always a curse.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always a curse. And I always joke with Allie. I said, one day, you give me 50 years. So keep in mind, I said, best case scenario, I'm 80 years old. I said, you give me 50 years of marriage, I'll Post Malone your name on the top of my fucking eyebrow.
Awesome. Well, if I make it to my fucking 80-year mark,
Yeah.
I'll refer you to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Are there any spots on the body that you're just like you have to tell them like, hey, I'm letting you know right now, stay fucking still?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, most everywhere, but you know, I mean, fingers like when they're wanting to do little tiny lettering and shit like that, because there's no room to like, oh, I can go fucking shade a little bit over here and hide that.
Yeah.
Like lettering's, you know, if it's not like, you know, the really involved, cool, you know, filigree lettering, you know, then it's like, you know, it's too precise. There's no
Yeah.
room for any kind of shit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you have those people that say they want these surgery tattoos, but their pain tolerance is either low or they're.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of wasted people in here? Not here, but like in your life. Like, have you ever had just people just barge in and just be like, you know what I want? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's happened for sure. And, you know, I mean, you don't tattoo them, you know. 9 out of 10, you know, you tell them to come back the next day, you'll never see them again.
yeah.
You know.
I got to say kudos to businesses that understand that kind of shit. Because, like, you know, I like to dabble in my booze and, like, stuff like that. I was actually afraid. Last time I went to go to Utah, my flight got delayed. And I sat at an airport bar, and I didn't know this. I guess it's common sense to most people, but I didn't know that they have the right to not put you on the plane if you're messed up.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And I've been watching this old A&E show where it's literally that. Like, it's literally just about, like, an airlines that they tell about their stories and stuff like that. But most of it was, like, drunk people. And I was fucking wasted. Like, I was just like, you know, fuck
What were
it.
you drinking that day? Do you remember?
So, I mean, it was like any normal day. It's just like because I have flight anxiety.
The other day, okay.
I know it sounds messed up. Like any other day, I was messed up. But I have flight anxiety. Not when I take off, but when I get in the air.
Yeah.
Like like
Is
all
it you're just like anticipating turbulence?
kind
or-
of. It's more so just the fact that like I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights that I don't have enough time to understand that this is gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And people say, like, I've heard of these crazy situations where people fall out of the sky, like they're in these plane crashes and they survive,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the whole time they're
Bounced 3 times. and lived to tell
yeah,
about
like,
it.
but
Yeah.
that's my thing is that I'm just like I am 35,000 feet in the air right now, so I have to have some kind of lucidity to fall asleep or to focus on my movie. But so my flight gets delayed, and I'm like, fuck it. The next flight's not for another hour and a half. My go-to, if I want to get a good buzz really quick, I always do Jameson and Guinness.
Okay.
I don't like bomb it, you know what I mean? But I'll do like my shot of Jameson, and then I'll pound that Guinness, And I get back to the gate, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I just wonder it. And they, it's so funny because I know my stepmom's gonna listen to this, and she's gonna understand that, or she's gonna hear the story. But they called a supervisor over. And they're like, "Are you okay?" And I heard that. I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I have to just pretend that I'm not in a DUI situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, "No, I'm solid. I'm you know what I mean?" They're like, "Okay."
Fuck.
Just it would be in your. They said it would be in your best interest if you just stayed at the gate. And I said, "All right, fuck it." I don't know. I have this thing where, look, don't drink and drive. Don't be stupid. Don't drink booze till you can't walk. But a lot of situations in life, I seem to just feel a lot more comfortable when I'm a little under the influence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can agree.
yeah.
Just like, I'm a people person, but I have a lot more fun with people when I've been drinking.
Yeah, I can get that.
You know?
I think it keeps me more like I'll have a beer when we go out to dinner, and that keeps me kind of because my anxiety with like social venues isn't always the greatest. It's gotten a lot better, especially since Sierra and I have gotten together. She's kind of helped me through that a lot.
Yeah.
But the beer definitely helps me like just be relaxed, and I'll smoke a big fat fucking bowl before I.
So let me ask you this: what is your ideal weed ingestant?
I dab a lot.
See, that scares me. I've had one. I'm gonna tell you a story. We'll wrap up soon, but I got to tell you this story. So, I had a friend who was a mutual friend of your lady. Well, was a mutual friend, and that's all he did was dabs. At one point, and this is my thing with dabs, is I think if normal weed isn't doing it for you, and you're doing dabs, pure THC, you're a fucking wild man, right?
Right.
So this was back in the day when like dabs really became a thing, and so they do the whole thing, 2 hits, I'm done on normal weed. So
Right.
but I'm over here doing dabs. I'll never forget. I lived in the same apartment complex as this guy, and my girlfriend at the time, she had to walk me home, like a movie. Like she's got her hand over me, or her arm or whatever. We get upstairs. I'll never forget. She throws me on the bed. She's wiping off her makeup. She's telling me the story. You ever have those situations where you're so stoned you don't know if you're thinking or you're saying it out loud?
Yeah.
Dude, this was so messed up. So she's talking, and I thought I was thinking this, and out loud I go, "Holy shit, you talk so much." Not only does she decide to change gears and start to argue with me, I am so fucking high, Jared. I'm like, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this. Lose. So now, ever since then, I have this horrible thing with dabs. But with beer, it's such a nice, steady climb.
Right.
It's not a punch to the face. It's
Yeah.
I'm at a bar, like I'm watching a Raiders game, big Raiders fan. I'm watching a football game. I'm at the river, like just throughout the day. You start at noon, 8 o'clock, you're at number 16. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
8 o'clock's like, I'm gonna call it quits.
Yeah.
But
Those are
with-
good days.
Yeah, it's a great day. But with weed, it feels like it's so. Have you ever? Are you? We talked about psychedelics. We talked about weed. We talked about booze. Have you ever dabbled in like some little bit harsher stuff?
Yeah, I've done cocaine. I put cocaine in whiskey also.
Not a
Drank it.
fan anymore.
No, I had my day in the sun with it. I've skated lots of situations that probably could have been bad with law enforcement.
I was going to ask you, any jail time?
No, I've been cuffed a few times, but never booked. Always let go. What do they say in Shawshank Redemption? Everyone's fucking innocent.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
man.
no, I mean, yeah, I definitely Psychedelics were great, man. I did love, well, no, I had a couple bad trips, but most of them were pretty good, you know.
See, I've had trips that start amazing. Holy fuck, Jared, that sucked. Oh my god,
Yeah.
this part sucks so bad. Everyone who's
I had a meatball to offer you.
Oh my god, this fucking I'm trying so hard, you guys, to just talk through this shit. Holy fuck. It's always started good. I've only done acid twice and mushrooms, no, both twice, and they always start good, but it's the peak and the come down that are just obnoxiously hard.
Yeah.
So you were talking about just when you were stuck in the porta potty and you know all the shit that you were seeing. My thing is that
I've had crazy visuals. There was even one time I was bridge jumping, out in Washington, out in the Stillaguamish River.
Yeah.
And I jumped out this bridge, and I remember looking down, and as I fucking looked down, the fucking water turned to fucking like ground, like
Holy
I
shit.
feel the grass and shit, and I was like, what the fuck? So I hit, and I'm like, fucking all of a sudden I'm under fucking dirt, like in the water, but I'm under dirt, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. And I'm like, fucking get out of here, the fucking dirt. And I was like, what the fuck? And just like, it was a quick fucking just poof.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm in the fucking river, fucking idiot.
So you got to have your mental checks on that. Like one thing that
Yeah.
messed me up, and it was weird. Like I was at my buddy's house, and his house goes from carpet to nylon floors. It's so weird what your brain will perceive as just like a trip. Like you keep telling yourself this isn't real, but it feels. Like my biggest thing was that I wouldn't go into his kitchen because the carpet to nylon felt like a 15-foot drop.
Right.
Like I would look at it and it looked like I was diving into a pool that had no water in it.
Oh yeah, that's
And it's
fucked
so weird what your body will do. But see, that's what I'm saying. It's just like beer, none of that.
up. Right.
Whiskey makes me feel like a gentleman. Wine makes me cry. But beer, solid,
Good burps?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, too, is that when you're finished for the night and you go lay down, you have the spins, and then you just unleash just a burp of all burps. You're like, oh, bedtime now, for sure.
Bedtime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, the last question I had, just to kind of wrap this up is, everyone starts somewhere. And, it seems like obviously tattoo's not going anywhere. It's an art form that more and more people, as the years progress, it's a normal thing. It's not so much a taboo thing. People love to get them for any kind of occasion. It's kind of like a bar, it's just you're celebrating. It's your birthday,
Absolutely.
whatever, and people love getting it. For people who want to start doing it, I mean, is there any kind of pointers that you can give to them?
Constantly be drawing. Art is like definitely the biggest thing because people will rely on a stencil and their pre-drawn out designs, but say you lose that stencil, what do you do on the fly? You got to be able to know your piece. So drawing is huge, and find a good reputable shop that's willing to give you an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Just so you have the understanding of what the fucking industry is and what the industry is going to fucking throw your way. And, because, anybody can just go on Amazon and get a fucking tattoo machine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the world we live in, and that's cool, whatever. It's you're not going to get away from it, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's just whatever, you still, I still have clients that, they've gone and gotten pieces from people that weren't experienced even after getting done work by me, and they come back for me to fix it, and I'm like,
What the fuck is this?
yeah, I
Yeah.
just kind of like confused, like, well, if you were wanting to just kind of try other work, like try someone in the shop, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just kind of whatever, but people just need to, everybody starts somewhere, and I'm always willing to try to, help who I can along my way, but I still learn every fucking tattoo I do.
Yeah?
You're never done learning. If you think you're done learning,
Well,
it's not like you're a tool maker at a machine shop.
Sure.
You're at the end of your game. Fuck
Yeah.
no.
I appreciate the humbleness, like you said earlier in this episode, that a lot of people have this rock star complex,
Yeah.
and it could be daunting.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, I've had, you can see it. I've even walked into shops before where, they just kind of, give you a fucking attitude. And it's like, why? What's the fucking point?
Yeah. And you don't want to discourage, other people.
No, I mean, I think anybody, if somebody wants to pursue tattooing, definitely fucking pursue it. Just, go through the right channels.
Well,
for
shit,
sure.
I'll tell you now more than ever, it's a pretty sick profession.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, like you said, it's so mainstream that, all walks of life want to get tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely, and there's no real limitations on really what can be done. I mean, you can really do some cool shit.
Right. Well, where can people find you?
We are at the northeast corner of 103rd Avenue on Olive in Sun City, Arizona.
And any Instagram Facebook, anything like that?
Instagram is the shop Instagram is Hyperlucid Studios _. Mine is Hyper_Lucid_Studios.
Very cool.
Did I say that right? Something like that.
All right, we killed it. All right, cool. All right, everybody. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up here. I promise you, we'll be right back. We're going to see the end results. And for those of you who don't stick around, episode 50. Jared, I want to thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful pleasure for you beating the shit out of my arm.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love you all, and we'll see you next episode.
Well, thanks.
If you like what you heard, tap into their Instagram and Twitter. The information's right below with their email.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy.
Be sure to log into the channel by subscribing and check out the previous episodes. But until then, we'll see you next week with a new one. We out for now.